Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by Tap and Barrel Grill, the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment.
Good evening.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, with loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With news that's jaw dropping, they're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
All right, here we go. Shh.
Welcome to episode 158 of Sports on Tap Detroit, alongside Joe Waddell. I'm Chris Scott. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I had a little rough intro there. Anytime we get Windows updates, it's a very big pain in the ass.
Yeah, Bill Gates wants to just,
Yeah,
or whoever's running Microsoft now.
I thought I had it fixed before we went live, and during the live bringing the show in, there was a couple of hiccups. I don't think part of the intro was out there audibly, but it is what it is. It's live.
Everybody can hear us now, right? We good?
Fuck it, we do it live.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's nothing we can't edit for the podcast version of it, and for you listening now, get over it. We're gonna move on.
It's live shit, man. That's what happens. So
It's the shit that happens.
it really does. So before we get into the NFL stuff, because there's actually there's some stuff that's happened since our last show. So
Like what?
we'll get to it shortly.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, right. I just want to take a kind of just recap the Tigers' season and their playoff run. Obviously, a tremendous accomplishment from where they were and to get to where they got to Game 5 of the ALDS. Unfortunately, it came to an end, and they obviously were eliminated in Game 5. But with that being said, there's a lot to look forward to with this team. There really is. But it shows you what they were missing and what they need to go get this offseason. They need a thumper, at least one, maybe two, if they can possibly pull it off. Don't even think about Juan Soto. It's not happening, guys. There's no way in hell that happens.
Yeah.
And frankly, you don't need Juan Soto. You don't. You just need guys that can actually put the ball in the seats. That would be nice, right?
It'd be great. You can't get away with always playing, small ball. You have to have a couple of guys that can hit the seats.
Dennis, I disagree with that. I don't think they would have gotten destroyed by the Yankees because, frankly, I don't think the Yankees are that good. I really don't. I think their pitching is mid. Yeah, they got a couple really good hitters, but other than that, I don't think they're that good. I really don't. I don't think it would have been a sweep either way. I think it would have gone at least 6 games, but that's just me. Do I think the Yankees would have won that series? Yeah, probably, but I don't think it would have been beat down as a lot of people may have think. But that's just me. The main issue with the Tigers in the ALDS is simple. They couldn't score with runners in scoring position. They just couldn't.
Yeah, they stranded a lot of ducks on the pond.
You go
man.
5 for 46, you're probably going to lose. You're probably not going to advance. So
Yeah, and do you want to address the thing that you sent in our group chat about somebody blaming Scooble?
Oh yeah, I certainly do. I saw this obviously pretty much right after the game had ended.
Yeah, it's insane to me.
And I'm glad I took a picture of this because I want to get this right. I don't want to mess up what they said. and put words in their mouth. So, subpar Tarek Skubal sinks Tigers in Game 5. Series over, season over, Guardians advance. That's one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever read.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb.
Are you kidding me? Without Tarek Skubal, you're not even in the playoffs, frankly.
No. You don't even sniff the playoffs.
You don't even sniff the playoffs. And for you to say that about one game, and he was good until he gave up the grand slam. And even though he gave up the grand slam, who cares? Did they score 3 runs in that game? They scored 4 runs in that game? No? Okay.
No.
But to say that was, it's ignorant. Simply, it's ignorant.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb. When you sent that across, I was like, "What?"
And I'm not gonna mention which podcast it was because I frankly don't want to. It's simple as that. But
Well, one, we don't want to advertise for
Right.
them, and also,
but to say some stupid shit like that,
we're not in the habit of
It's
calling people out like that either. But yeah, that's dumb.
it's like, come on. Like, yeah, that's why they lost, because Skubal gave up a grand slam. Really? That's why they lost? Okay. Frankly, to me, they kind of
he had one human
yeah.
fallible
Okay.
situation, or like all season he's been like Superman. One time
Yeah.
he's human.
Yeah. And
And-
that's why you lost.
Yeah.
Frankly, if you really want to go that route, they lost it in Game 4 when they had bases loaded, nobody out, and they only got 1 run out of it.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that was kind of the turning point to me. Mm-hmm. You had it, and you only got 1 run. And frankly, it was on a sacrifice fly. So, and promptly, right after that, they got out with the inning double play.
Yeah.
When they could have blown that game wide open and advanced. But that was the biggest sequence in this series for me, was having that situation, bases loaded, nobody out, and you only get 1 run out of it.
I actually agree with you. I think that was the turning point right there.
Yeah.
I think once that happened, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you have Skubal going into a game,
Right.
you always have optimism.
You do.
But they had proven at that point in time that it looked like their miraculous hitting and their late inning comebacks and late inning take the lead opportunities was. They weren't gonna. They just had spent. They were spent. You know what I mean? They were done.
And like we're saying,
It was miraculous, but
it was.
they were
but
done.
You didn't have any thumpers in that lineup.
Nope.
You just didn't. You had too many swing and miss.
The fact they were able to grind it out that long and for that good of a record and make the playoffs and actually advance in the playoffs, and take it to a Game 5 in a best of 5 series, to me shows how gritty they were. But at a certain point in time, that can only take you so far, and it took them as far as it was going to go.
It catches up to you at some point. So, again, to me, the objective this offseason is fairly simple. You know exactly what you need.
Absolutely.
You know exactly what you need. Now, do I trust Pizza Boy to go spend money and do it?
No.
Not even a little bit. I don't.
No.
But I'd like to be proven wrong here. That would be great. Because, again,
I would love it.
Like, you see what this fan base is like when the Tigers are good. When the Tigers they'll show out. They will absolutely show out for this team. They will. They'll support the hell out of this team. And for you to look at,
Well, you saw it down the stretch.
that's my point. You saw exactly what happened down the stretch. And if you were to ignore that and not do something to make this team more formidable going into next season, and to me, that's just a big slap in the face of the fan base.
Huge.
So I'm curious to see what Pizza Boy does. Like I said, prove me wrong. Prove this whole fan base wrong. And that's pretty much all I got to say about it. Just,
Well, to me, you can no longer say we have to get pieces. We have to build a foundation. You proved you have a foundation. Now you need some thumpers.
Yep.
You need some big bats in that lineup. A couple. I'd take 1, but prefer 2.
I would take 1 and somehow pray to the gods that you can somehow get Spencer Torkelson to fucking hit the ball again on a consistent basis.
Well, and who knows? If you get a better bat in there, maybe you have some protection for him, and maybe he sees some better pitching, and maybe he doesn't feel as much pressure. I don't know what his problem is at this point, but
He can't, his swing's too long.
It's one of those things where it's like, God damn, man, he perfected it in the second half of last year, and then this year it was dog shit.
His swing is far too long. He can't catch up to fastballs.
Yeah,
And if you can't catch up to a fastball in the show, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because that should be baseline, being able to catch up to fastballs.
and addition by subtraction, please, for the love of God, get rid of Javi. Where is Harvey? I can tell you where I want him to be, and that's not on this team.
Not on this team even a little bit. I think that experiment needs to end. But
I fucking beg of you. But
anyways, so that said, let's move on to some to the NFL.
the NIFL,
The NIFL, yes, as some people called it. Not me, but some people.
the No Fun League.
I mean, I wish I could change it to like the AFL, the All Flag League, because that game last night was absurd.
National Flag League.
We'll get to that shortly, but that was absurd last night. How many flags were thrown in that game?
In the second half, Eric was talking to me about that
God.
today. So
And that roughing the passer.
I didn't see that. So I had on that. I was doing a lot of things last night. So I was setting up some other Halloween decorations, but also I had the baseball game, the football game, and wrestling on at the same time. Mm-hmm. I was slightly watching all three of them. So I didn't intently watch any of them.
Right.
I slightly watched all three.
I had the split screen of the baseball game and the football game going on.
Well, I had that, and then I had the smaller TV on wrestling.
I didn't watch wrestling at all last night. I'm starting to lose interest in it. I'm not kidding. Yeah. It's so predictable. It's like it's fucking boring. But anyways, we'll talk about that at another time. But the football game last night, it was just, again, the amount of flags that were thrown were just absurd. So many pass interference, holding, and they just had the roughing the passer on the Bills. It's one of the worst roughing the passers I've ever seen. It really was. But they called it, and it is what it is. But going from that game, there was some news made today from the two teams that played in last night's game. The Jets, which you kind of knew this was coming, traded for Davante Adams.
Yes.
Today. And they really didn't have to give up a whole lot to get him, which I'm not surprised about.
Well, the asking price came down.
Of course it did, because there was only one or two places he was going to go.
Well, and the asking price was slightly too much. I mean, they wanted a second plus.
Yeah.
The way it works out, I think they're going to get a conditional third, which turns into a second at a certain point.
Yep.
Which they might still get their second, which is fine. But you were never going to get a second plus, right? You weren't going to get what they were asking.
But for the Raiders, the dead cap money they carry for this year and next year. This year, it's $13.67 million. For next year, $15.7 million.
And they still carry that for Davante.
Yes. Yes. And we always say, like, this is why bad organizations stay bad organizations. Mm-hmm. And it's weird to say that about the Raiders because they were once a great organization. And how far that organization has fallen is comical to me. And I posted it in our group chat on Sunday. I'm just like, this organization is an embarrassment, especially from what it used to be. And that's a shame because it was one of those marquee franchises. It really was, and now it's an absolute joke. So sorry, Frank, that you root for an absolute dumpster fire of a franchise, but that's what they are.
Looks like we commented, "In Brady we trust." I'm guessing Frank is logged in as Sports on Tap right now because he says, "In Brady we trust."
Okay.
Hey, Frank.
Anyways.
What's up, buddy?
I mean, can he be any worse as an owner as he is in the booth? I don't know.
I mean, he's
pretty bad in the booth.
He's I'll be honest with you. He's gotten better since
he has gotten, but
so I listened to more of him this week.
Yeah.
So I listened to him the first weekend, sporadically since then, and then I listened to him a little bit more this weekend, and he has gotten better. I'm not going to just completely dog him. He's gotten better. His analysis has gotten better. He talks a little bit more, but it's still pretty vanilla. It's the opposite. It's the exact opposite of Tony Romo. Like, Romo has gone off into La La Land as far as, like, he's like, "Ooh, Jim.
Look, Jim. It's happening, Jim.
Ooh, I don't know if he's going to make it.
Yep.
Ooh." And then Tom Brady is like, just very mellow, and he talks like this, and there's just no, I don't know what.
And this is what happened. This is why you have in the middle, you have Greg Olson.
Yes,
who I think is
basically.
I think
one of
he
the
is
best.
the best.
He's one of the, in my opinion, he's definitely one of the
Yes.
best. I'm not going to go out and say he's the best, but he's up there. And the fact he lost his job to Tom Brady, I mean, it literally is just because it's Tom Brady.
I would almost guarantee that next year it'll be a 3-man booth for Fox.
I hope so.
I think it will be.
I hope so.
I honestly think it will be.
I mean, you can't keep going. I mean, if Brady doesn't get much better than this, you can't.
I don't think he's going to. You know how we talk about guys who like reach their ceiling, and there's like kind of like how we talked about Trevor Lawrence. We thought this is him like 2 years ago.
Dude, speaking of him,
we'll get to that. Yes, but like 2 years ago, we're like, this might be the best he is. I think that's where Tom Brady is now, and I know it's like not a huge sample size.
6 games into his,
but I don't see him getting any better. I don't. I think this is just who he is.
I mean,
I think if you add that third voice with Greg Olson,
well, he's progressed in the first 6 weeks.
He has.
I'm not saying he can't progress more, but I do tend to agree with you in the fact that I just think Brady's personality was never.
No, it's always been.
It's never been escalated. Like, Brady's personality has always been vanilla.
And I think if you add
He's
that
always
third
been
voice,
very vanilla.
I think if you add that third voice, I think that'll bring some personality out.
It could.
I think it will, and he won't have to be the guy that like does everything, you know.
Right.
So I think if you add that third voice, I think it will make him better. I still don't think he's going to be great by any means, and I said this when we first started.
No, but if you have that, you might be right though. If you have that other football guy, and you have that other voice, maybe it does bring out some personality where they can talk football and they can have those discussions.
I think that's exactly what they should look into. Now, whether Fox does it or not, who knows? But because honestly, if you don't, you're going to lose Greg Olson. Like, that's going to happen. I don't think there's any way he stays there.
I don't see where he goes though. That's the problem.
I know we talked about this like a
few
did episodes back. Like, it looks like Collinsworth is staying. Obviously you got Aikman and Buck on Monday Night Football.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I just looked at the other trade with the dead cap space.
Oh yeah. Oh, I wanted to get to this because I heard that today. So,
oh, Jesus fucking Christ!
In response to the Davante Adams New York Jets trade, the Buffalo Bills traded for Amari Cooper from your Cleveland Browns. And again, the Bills.
First of all, great trade by Buffalo.
I agree with you, especially because they didn't give up anything.
Fucking brilliant.
Especially with the amount of picks they still have.
They gave up a 3rd rounder.
Yeah, and a 6th rounder in 2025.
Nope, a 7th rounder.
Oh, the Bills received this. Okay,
yeah.
Yes, and the Bills still have a ton of picks next year, which is awesome.
Well, the biggest aspect of this trade, though, is the Bills are only responsible for $806,667 of his remaining contract.
Yes, and he becomes a free agent next year.
And he becomes a free agent next year.
Yes.
Amari Cooper's a very, very good wide receiver. I think this is brilliant for Buffalo. He's a good wide receiver that doesn't bring diva qualities.
And I think he needed a change of scenery.
Oh, absolutely.
And a good quarterback to throw him the ball.
Absolutely, he did.
Yes.
Nobody on Cleveland has a good quarterback to throw them the football.
That's true.
So, yes, I believe he does need that, and I think it's a great move for Buffalo. The Browns, once again, showing why losing franchises always lose. The Browns acquire a 3rd-round pick, a 7th-round pick, who is actually Detroit's pick, I believe, from Buffalo. And then Cleveland, so we talked about how Buffalo picks up $806,000 of his contract, right?
Yep.
Cleveland this year is still responsible for $7.9 million of his contract this year.
I'll do next year.
And then next year's is $22.5 million.
Womp womp.
But yet you're still continuing to play a quarterback because he makes a lot of money. Get the fuck out of here. You're willing to part ways with the only receiver that could catch a fucking football from this fucking guy. Instead of benching him and getting rid of him, you get rid of the receiver and you pay to have the receiver gone. You're going to be paying him next year, and he's still going to be able to go out and sign with another team to also pay him.
Yep.
It's fucking stupid.
I said, hell of a
And you're also paying Jerry Jeudy a ton of money because you signed him to a contract after you traded for him, and before he even played a snap for you, you guaranteed him a bunch of money in a contract. You're gonna have Deshaun Watson out there, who literally looks like a blind man trying to play football, throwing the football to Jerry Jeudy, who can't get open, can't get separation, and can't catch a football. That's a good combination.
It's a hell of an organization they're running down there.
It's a great combination you got going there, guys. Meanwhile, you got Baker Mayfield just lighting the fucking league up where he's at right now. I'm just fucking saying that. I'm just going to throw that one out there for you. I would actually take Jameis Winston on their own team. I would take him, and I would actually take him if you rewound time and had him before he had his LASIK surgery. I would take him.
Oh, interception machine?
Yeah, fuck it, I take it. He still threw for a bunch of yards and touchdowns too.
He did.
I mean,
30 and 30.
Listen, he added interceptions. I don't give a fuck. He threw for a bunch of touchdowns. I'm just
At
saying.
least he moved the ball.
He moved the chains,
Yes,
man.
exactly.
Like, what a shit show dumpster fire. Jesus.
So
Anyway.
in reflecting on this past week, the Thursday night game, the Niners and Seahawks, I was busy watching the Tiger game that night, so it was kind of like, okay, whatever. 49ers come away with the win. The Seahawks, again, there's something about that team. Like, I thought they'd be significantly better than they actually are.
The Sea Chickens?
Yes.
Well, for a defensive head coach,
Yeah.
that defense does not look good.
It does not look good.
They can't establish the run with one of the better running backs in the league, which
Yeah.
blows my mind. They abandoned the run, too early at times. I just don't understand it. I mean, Geno Smith threw the ball 52 times.
Why?
And you ran the ball with Kenneth Walker 14 times.
Why do
so-
coaches do this shit?
I don't know. I really don't understand it. And it's not like they were behind in a lot of this game.
But the whole point of running the ball is to control the clock, right?
Yeah. They were behind, basically at one point they were behind, 23-17.
Yeah.
So you're not behind that much.
No,
at
you're
that
down
point.
a score.
And you need to be able to run the football more. You can't. Geno Smith throws for 312 yards and on 52 attempts. Man, you're throwing the ball too much.
Yes.
Way too much.
You certainly are.
And you have to find a better way to establish the run. I mean, Kenneth Walker is averaging 2.3 yards a pop, and it's not because he's not good. Like, you have to open up some bigger holes in that offensive line. I don't know what you have to do, but
I mean,
that's
you got to open up
pathetic.
holes like a $2 hooker, bro. Like, simple
That's
as that.
pathetic.
I mean, yeah, those are some big ass holes, I would think.
I would imagine. I would imagine those are some gaping
Gaping
holes.
a gaping chasm.
Is it a sarcasm? Is it a sarcasm?
I don't know about that, but it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Even a 747 looks small flying in the Grand Canyon.
Exactly. It's a good reset, by the way. So moving on to the Sunday slate, the morning game in London, which I was happy because I had to bowl in the morning on Sunday, which was not ideal because I was slightly hungover, but whatever. At least football was on, so I was like, that's cool. Bears beat the Jags 35-16. Caleb actually looked pretty good, I thought.
He did. He looked pretty good.
Now, is
I
that
don't
the
know.
product of playing the Jaguars?
Was just about to ask that. Is that a product of the Jaguars' bad defense, or is
Or
that
is he actually good?
or is he progressing?
Yeah.
Now, looking back at his games, it does look like he's progressing a bit, and I will give him credit because listen, I'm one of the biggest detractors. The only person that's bigger detractor of him is you,
Fair.
right? I mean,
Yes.
we're probably 1 and 2 on that fucking list.
Yes, I would not disagree with that.
So yeah, but I do think he's progressing. I think he has a lot of weapons on that team. I think he's utilizing them properly.
Yeah.
I mean, Cole Kmet is relevant again.
Yeah, how about that?
Keenan Allen dropped his walker in this game and was able to catch two touchdowns.
His hurricane?
Yeah, he got out of his hover round and
Yeah.
actually caught a couple touchdown passes. I believe he pulled his hamstring boarding the plane afterwards, but
Of course.
you know,
Oh, yeah, but speaking of hamstrings, how's Devontae Adams' hamstring doing today? Is it good?
Devontae, I'm sure it's better.
Amazing how that works.
I'm pretty sure it's healed actually.
Amazing how that works.
Yeah, well, the doctors in New York are much better than in Las Vegas. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable.
The doctors in Las Vegas are usually.
Oh, it's good. It's good now.
Yeah, the doctors in Las Vegas. It's in their defense, they're usually at the craps table.
Probably. They probably got their degrees in Mexico somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so the doctors in New York are much better.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, of
So
course. Yeah.
I believe he is healed. I believe he'll be able to play in this next game.
Praise Jesus.
All due to the good Lord Jesus Christ and the medical professionals in New York.
Yes.
But yeah, that game was between the Bears and
Yeah.
the Jags was a fucking shit show. Jeremy says Jacksonville is no longer adjacent, and Frank says he agrees. Yeah, the Jags are no longer
Real adjacent.
real adjacent.
Yeah.
Adjacent to real.
They're real bad.
They're really
Yeah.
really bad.
Yes, they certainly are.
They are not good.
No, they're not. And especially like their owner said this is the best Jacksonville team ever assembled. Did you not hear him say that?
I did not.
He said this a few weeks ago.
He's a fucking idiot.
Like, what are you talking about?
You're delusional.
Yeah, I'm like, no, this is not even close to the best
I-
Jaguars team
listen,
ever assembled.
I've never been a Jaguars fan, but I've seen some better Jaguars teams.
Oh, I mean, obviously we've seen some better Jaguars teams. We've seen two
Even-
Jaguars teams go to the AFC Championship
I
game.
would say even the team that was quarterbacked by Blake Bortles was better than this
Yes,
one.
like those teams with Brunel and whatnot. Yes,
Yeah.
better teams.
Yeah.
Like for that idiot owner to say that is like, okay, this is why bad organizations stay bad. Because owners that say stupid shit like that.
But not just say stupid shit. Like they actually believe.
They
the
actually
stupid
believe,
shit they
yes.
say.
So we move on from that and go to the Packers-Cardinals game. I really didn't watch any of this game, to be honest with you, but I see that the Packers took care of business at home.
I saw a lot of this game.
Did you?
Yeah, it was on. It was on the red zone a lot.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, yeah,
At least
the
with Green
Packers
Bay.
are scoring 34 points, yeah.
Yeah, at least with Green Bay, it was on a lot.
Yeah.
Dobbs cut a couple touchdown passes. Jaden Reed got one. Yeah, I mean Christian Watson. Like holy shit, man! Like it was. The Cardinals have a fucking problem.
They do have a problem.
Their offense is so basic.
It's like a white girl ordering a pumpkin spice latte.
It is North Face basic.
Really, in Ugg boots.
It's Ugg boots basic.
Yeah.
It's driving a G6, driving a silver G6 with a pink D in the rear view.
Oh, yeah.
Basic.
Yeah.
It is that basic.
All right, Cheyenne.
It's Cheyenne basic. Full on Ugg boots, North Face.
Got the leggings on. Absolutely, 100%.
The black yoga pants when she's never even she doesn't really know what yoga is.
No, she's wearing like the Carhartt beanie or whatever.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Never done a days of hard work in her life.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, that's
That's how
Cardinals.
basic that Cardinals
Yeah.
offense is.
Yes, certainly. So yeah, the Packers take care of business at home, which I'm not surprised about. Looks like they're back on track now. So that NFC North, man, that's. Well, I mean, we talked about it before the season started that we thought that was going to be one of the best divisions, if not the best division in football.
Well, it's surpassed that now.
Yeah, currently it is the best division in football, and I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Zero.
So
Zero. Minnesota, very good. Green Bay, very good. Chicago, getting better. They're competing. And Detroit, obviously, is who they are.
the Lions are arguably the best team in football right now.
I
say
agree. How can you disagree?
It's hard to say you can't.
You can't.
So we go from the
They're going to be in a little bit of trouble here, though.
so we will get to that game shortly.
Yep.
Moving on to the Colts Titans, I really don't want to go over this game because I think both these teams suck, and I don't think either of them are making the playoffs. So unless you got something to add about this game, I think we can just bypass it. Yeah.
The only thing I have to add for this game is there's a decision that they have to make in Indy. They are 3-3, and Joe Flacco's been winning. I believe Anthony Richardson was able to go this weekend. They just decided not to. They decided to rest him further. I wonder how that's going to progress from here. In as far as football aspect, like it's interesting to me to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
Are they going to keep going with Joe Flacco, or are they going to put Anthony Richardson back in there?
I think you keep riding it.
Which I think might happen. And the other thing is that offense for Tennessee with Will Levis in there, man,
Woof.
yes, woof. It's not good
No,
by any
certainly
means.
not.
Tony Pollard is really the only bright spot on that offense.
And that dude's like 50.
Well, and he's not necessarily the best running back, but for some reason he keeps cranking off 5.5 yards a rush.
Crazy.
Dude, he's and for a team that has no offense, passing offense, to be able to do that as a running back is pretty impressive. So he's been the only impressive thing on that Tennessee Titans team, and that offensive line is pretty good, opening some $2 hooker holes for him. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that one.
There's a lot more than I thought we were going to get about that game.
Well, pure football.
Yeah, your nerd takes over.
Pure football analysis. I have to jump in a
Yeah,
little
your
bit.
inner nerd takes over.
Yeah.
I get it. That's
My
good.
football nerddom.
Your nerdery. Moving on, another game that I really have no interest in. The Texans take out the Patriots. Of course they did, because the Patriots are not very good. So 41-21. CJ Stroud looked good again because he's a good quarterback.
Yes, and I will say Drake May impressed.
Yeah.
Houston's defense is no slouch, but he actually looked pretty damn
Yeah,
good.
20-33, 243, and 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
a solid debut.
He threw 2 picks, but listen, his first start, he looked pretty impressive. 20 of 33, man. I mean, and he was making throws that good NFL quarterbacks make. I was pretty impressed with his debut.
Yes.
I think if you're a Patriots fan, I'd be happy about that. He looked good. So
You might have a bright future at quarterback, New England. I mean, he might be the best quarterback you've ever had. We don't know.
well, he might be the best announcer they've ever had.
Maybe.
Once he tries that.
Moving on to our next game here, the Bucks take out the Saints 51-27. Former Cleveland Brown legend Baker Mayfield, 24 for 36, 325 and 4 touchdowns. Man, that's got to sting. That's got to sting. It has to.
I like seeing him succeed. I don't care
No,
where he's at.
and I know you do, but I can't believe there's still idiot Browns fans that believe that Watson is better.
Oh, they're still out there.
I know they are,
and so
and that's the amazing thing to me.
Well, we talked about this, and again, I'm just going to rehash this again. Very much against it when it happened. Very much against everything that went down. Cleveland literally paid Baker Mayfield to go elsewhere.
Yes, they did.
Same as they just did to Amari Cooper, but they decided to still keep paying Deshaun Watson to fucking fuck up football on their team for some reason.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody the other day, and they almost didn't believe it. Like when I came out and was against that, like,
Oh, you got roasted.
dude, I got death threats.
You did. You absolutely did. 100%. Can confirm. You got. Yeah.
Like it was like I was enemy number one. I was racist.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna die. Like I had people threatening my life, all because I said it was a bad move
Granted,
to
what do you
sign.
expect from people from Ohio? First of all, I get it.
Well, I mean, it
'Cause
was
they're degenerates.
It was fuck. I'm just like, how do you think this is a good thing?
It's-
sure enough.
Hey, how
A few
about
years
that?
down the road, will you fucking look at this? You look who was fucking right.
How's that working out for you, Cleveland fans? Yes.
And the sad part is there's still people that don't want to see it. There's still people that defend Deshaun Watson to their dying breath until he's gone from the team, and then all of a sudden they'll come out and say,
guys?
"Oh, yeah, I knew. Yeah, of course he's bad. You know, after he's gone, you'll end
Of
up.
course. But guys, that's not happening for quite a while. So
It can't happen soon enough for me.
obviously, but with dead cat money, there's no way they can do that. No way.
Why not? They just took on a bunch of dead cat money from Amari Cooper. Fucking take on some more.
I said that might be your whole cap.
I mean, they paid Baker to go away. They paid Amari Cooper to go away. Fucking pay everybody to go away. Start over.
But back to the game we were talking about. Yes, Buccaneers took out the Saints 51-27. Bucs
Yes.
look good. Are they the best team in that
Bakes.
division?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, moving on to your actual team, who lost in. You look at both these teams, the Eagles and Browns. Eagles win 20-16. Like, there's a lot to say about both these teams. Obviously, we spoke at length about the Browns' issues, especially with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. From here on out, there's not much I'm going to say about the Browns' issues because
What can you say that hasn't already been said?
well, that's my point now. It's just going to be me beating a dead horse as to how every move they make is stupid, and I said it was going to be, and now it's just literally I said what was going to happen, and now a few years down the road, it's actually playing out.
They can't move.
I can't narrate how it plays out when I already told you what was going to happen.
They
So I'm
can't
kind
move
of
the ball with him. They're not a good offense with him
no.
behind center. They just aren't. And then you go to the Eagles side. I still maintain Nick Sirianni's not making it through this season.
I mean, he keeps putting out showings like that. He's not gonna.
And then when you're starting John with fucking Eagles fans, that never ends well, man. That
No.
never ends well.
No, just stop.
People realize what you are. You're a fraud of a head coach, man. You are. You're a fraud of a head coach. This was your assistants. This was that they got you to that Super Bowl. I'm sorry. People are realizing that you are, in fact, a fucking idiot. And we should have taken that. We should have taken that for real when we saw you at your press conference.
See, you and I had to eat our words when he made it to the Super
We
Bowl.
did.
But now in hindsight again, look who might have been right in the first place.
Yes, this
because
guy.
that press conference was fucking awful, dude.
Yes, it was. And you rode.
I think my daughter could have given a better press conference.
You rode your coordinators to that Super Bowl, and they made up for a lot of your dumb.
And they left.
And they left, and now everybody's seeing what an absolute fraud you are. So like I said, I still maintain that he does not make it to the end of this season. I think there's too much. I think there's too much there, and I know with Philly's owner, he wants to win. He does. He wants to win.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't like people embarrassing his organization.
No.
And when you start John with the fans
And embarrassing his name.
and embarrassing his name, yes. And when you start John with the fans and shit like that, the clock's ticking, and I think it's going to happen at some point. So.
Jeremy says, wondering if y'all heard the comment by the announcer in the Jacksonville game that if Jacksonville doesn't turn things around, they might as well just stay in London because they should probably sell the team. I didn't hear that.
I did not hear that.
But that's funny.
That is funny.
And the fact of the matter is they're actually staying in London because they have another game in London this next week, which is hilarious to me that they make the Jacksonville Jaguars play 2 weeks in a row
That's Shad Khan, though. That's
in
their owner.
London. He wants to do it?
Yes. That's him.
No shit.
Yes, because he owns Fulham Football Club over there too.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he wants he's a English owner.
Okay.
Like he's an English guy. So he wants the Jags to play over there
Okay.
in London.
Well,
Yeah.
fucking move the franchise there then. Because
Like obviously, there's always talk about that they're gonna have a team in England or whatever.
It would never
this
work.
will never happen.
logistically it would never
it would
work.
never work. Now and then there's
If you put a team in Mexico, okay. I mean,
Or even Canada, fine.
Canada, yes. I just don't think it would work.
it can't. It's logistically it wouldn't work.
Logistically speaking, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yes.
There's no fucking way.
And now they were talking like that was talking about having
You basically
a Super Bowl over there.
Well, you'd basically have to have them play half their season at home,
Yeah.
and then fly over to the United States and play all their away games.
Yeah.
In like you'd have to have them play a full half season home, half
Right,
season
which
away,
is absurd.
which is never gonna work,
No.
man. You can't do
That's
that.
absurd. And then he's talking
I
about
mean, the only way, but if Khan agrees to do that as the owner of the franchise,
no.
I'm just saying they would do it if he agreed to it. And you said he loves
does.
over there, and he's
Yeah, he does.
I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be dumb as hell, but
It would
who
be dumb
knows?
as hell.
But I think he's dumb as hell too, though. So
Very. And they said you had Goodell talking about the possibility of having a Super Bowl over there in England or somewhere abroad.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I wouldn't hate that. Why? What difference does it make?
I don't give two shits.
I couldn't care less where the game is fucking played.
I don't go anyways.
Exactly.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think I'll ever go to a Super Bowl.
No.
Because I enjoy watching football too much to
Yes.
go and be a part of the spectacle, the bullshit that's there.
It's not even a real game.
I want to watch it at home.
Yes. And I say it's not a real game because the atmosphere there is not real.
No.
It's not real. It's all corporate bullshit.
It's a bunch of people who are in that stadium that don't give a shit about football.
Exactly.
They don't care about who's playing.
Nope.
They don't care about either one of those teams playing, no matter who they are.
No.
Like that they're there for the halftime show and to be seen on TV and to just say they were there.
Exactly.
That's all they're there for.
And this is why I have
I'd
zero
rather
desire.
watch it at home or at a local bar.
Right.
Tap and Barrel Grill, Shelby Township. Go
Shout
watch
out.
it there.
Oh.
I'd rather watch it somewhere like that.
Yes.
Or at my house on my big screen TV with some friends over.
Yeah, and where I can actually, get up and take a piss whenever I want, and not stand in line for fucking 25 minutes.
Where I'm with people who also enjoy watching the football game.
Yes.
Who also enjoy talking about the game and are interested in what's going on. Not the corporate bullshit.
Where I don't have to pay, $25 for a beer. That would be nice,
Or $5,000 for a ticket.
Exactly. So, I know we kind of got off track a little bit.
I didn't even pay that much for my fucking TV, and I get hours and hours of enjoyment out of my TV every
Right,
week.
exactly. So moving on from that, Commanders, what everybody thought probably was the game of the week, like it should have been.
It was a dud.
It was a dud. Ravens take out the Commanders 30-23. I got to give
Both
credit to
quarterbacks
Lamar.
look good.
They did, yeah, both of them. Lamar and Jay Daniels, they both look good.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, I mean, for as much as we trash Lamar, and a lot of it deservedly so,
Yeah.
he's putting in another season, man. That how can you say right now he's not the leader in the clubhouse for the MVP?
I mean, I thought he was. I thought last year's win was
I did too.
Was farcical.
Agreed.
But yeah, I mean, I have a hard time saying he's not the front runner.
Yeah. So good for them. The Ravens. I think the Ravens are rounding into the team that we thought they were going to be.
Well, listen, Derrick Henry is one of the biggest
Yep.
differences in that team, man.
And you said that. The team that's on that cusp, and you go get that guy, which they did.
So
you're
again,
seeing the benefits of it.
so again, it follows
Yep.
my theory on running backs
It does. It tracks for sure.
wholeheartedly.
Yep.
And it's making a difference for them because when they need it, they can literally just hand him the football. They have a good offensive line.
Yep.
Hand Derrick Henry the football. Run out the clock.
Run out the clock.
I mean, and that's what they do now.
Oh. You know who doesn't run out the clock?
Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank.
That's right. I almost forgot about this. Shit. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
It's not his fault he can't read.
Jeremy, you are correct. Daniels has been very impressive as a rookie and a leader in the clubhouse for Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's anybody close.
I think Caleb Williams is getting close. His last couple outings, based on what everybody thought he was going to be beforehand. In my opinion, it's Daniels.
Yes.
We both said before the season started it was going to be Daniels.
Yes, we did.
But I do believe the more games that Caleb Williams has, like his last couple, he will inch closer and closer.
But as long as Daniels keeps playing the way he is, I don't think it matters.
I don't necessarily agree with that because I think name recognition alone, I think everybody wants Caleb Williams to be that guy. And if he is right there with him, it'll be Caleb Williams based on name. I think Jaden Daniels has to definitely outshine him. And right now, I think he is. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of how it progresses through the rest of the season. But if he outshines him, yes. If they're neck and neck, I think Caleb Williams gets it based on name and based on...
Which is kind of like the MVP last year, which was absurd.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I mean, you can't tell me I'm wrong, right? I mean,
No, because again, we saw it last
it's
year.
the thought process.
We saw it last year.
Yeah.
Like, should C.J. Stroud been higher up or even won the MVP last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But you know why he didn't get it? Because A, he was a rookie. God forbid you let a rookie win the MVP.
Oh, gee, that would have been awful.
Right. And obviously Dame. So there you go. So moving on from that, Chargers Broncos. I really don't have a lot to say about this game, other than Broncos. Why? Like 2 weeks ago, they wore their throwbacks, which are absolute beauties, beautiful jerseys. And then this week you wore these new monstrosities that you got. Like, I don't know why you would ever switch. Those throwbacks are gorgeous. Always wear them. Always. That's really all I got about this game. That's it. Other than that, I got nothing.
And it wasn't much other than Harbaugh left the game at one point due to illness or
like
something.
A arrhythmia or something like that.
What's it?
Like a arrhythmia or something like that. That's what I think.
Yeah, it was like they called it an illness, but I think it had something to do with heart arrhythmia or something like that. I don't know.
Yep.
But yeah. So
Yeah.
I had nothing else.
Yeah.
on
Other than
game.
that, that's really all I got. So, moving on to the Steelers and Frank's Raiders. Steelers take it 32-13. Now, I heard today that Uncle Russ is taking first team reps, which to me is absurd.
So it's funny. A couple of people thought I was nuts. I had Justin Fields in a couple of football leagues,
Yeah.
and I dropped him for other people.
Yeah.
I kind of felt this coming.
Which I don't understand
So
why you would do this.
Justin Fields hasn't been bad, but he hasn't necessarily been good either.
He's still going to be better than Russ.
I agree with you. But
Russ can't move.
With that being said, I saw the writing on the wall
Yeah.
that Tomlin was probably going to make
I
this
think he
move.
wanted them to. I think he wanted them all along.
I actually thought the move would be made during this game, but they were ahead enough in this game that it never happened.
Right. Because the Raiders are terrible.
Right. Yeah. But I kind of, again, the writing was on the wall for me, and I can't necessarily tell you, pinpoint what it was. But in my history, and Frank can vouch for this, he's in one of the leagues where I did it, is I did see the writing on the wall, and I dropped him. And after the game he put up, he had a couple rushing touchdowns, so his points in fantasy look good, right? And on the surface, you look at it, and you're like, all right, Joe, that was dumb. Why would you do that?
This is the problem. Too many people look at these guys do fantasy stats.
They do.
They don't look at the actual football.
Well, and to me, I saw this move coming, and yes, his fantasy scores look good, and fantasy-wise, maybe I should have waited a week. But again, I saw the writing on the wall, and I saw a couple other quarterbacks with good matchups. I chose wrong. Still had my quarterback did well, but I almost went with Caleb Williams, who had a fucking outstanding game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just was one of those things where I'm like, man, I don't think Fields starts much longer. I think it's going to be Russ pretty soon.
And you're going to see how that's going to go, and it's going to go really bad.
I'm not saying it's not. But I'm saying it's going to happen.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. I think it is going to happen.
Yep.
And you're going to see it go really bad really quickly because, again, the plays that Fields can make, because he can actually get out of the pocket
With his feet.
with his feet, make plays with his legs. Russ can't do that anymore. Russ is those are gonna be sacks.
Yep.
And your offense already is not the greatest.
Well, so Russ is theoretically a better passer.
Is
But
he though?
Well, again, that's why I said
Especially now
That's why I said theoretically.
with his noodle arm.
Who knows? I mean, I'm going to tell you based off his last time he played, what we saw, no. What we saw in Denver, no. But theoretically, he's a better passer than Justin
In
Fields.
Denver, that should have helped you out. You're throwing in that thin air. Like, come on, man. Like, I think this move is going to go bad really quickly.
It could, and you could end up seeing Justin Fields bounce back in there after a couple of games. But I definitely saw
And I think
Tomlin's going to go with Russ at some point.
I think
he's
you
gonna,
run the risk of upsetting that locker room too. But we'll see. But you're right. I think it is going to happen, and I think it's going to happen this week. Which again, I think is a mistake. I do. And you're going to see him take those sacks that Fields would be able to get out of and make a play with his legs. But hey, that's why he's an NFL coach. I mean, he gets paid a shitload
So-
of money to be one.
But if you look back, Tomlin is I don't know why they traded for Justin Fields when they did, because Tomlin is a guy that he wants to run a more normalized offense. He wants a quarterback to be a quarterback. He wants to run the football. He wants to grind the clock. He wants the quarterback to stay in the pocket and make throws.
Yep. That's
And
not what Justin Fields
that's
does.
not Justin Fields.
No.
And he's having to call they're having to call a different game on offense with Fields in there. And it just didn't, no matter what offensive stats Fields put up, it just looked awkward
Yeah.
when it was happening. And that was kind of the writing on the wall for me, is it just looked awkward. Tomlin didn't look happy. And it was going to change at some point.
Yep.
You had to have known it was.
Why can't we find the right coach for Justin Fields? Man?
I'm telling you, man.
It's ridiculous.
if look at what Harbaugh could do with Justin Fields.
Oh yeah.
Either Harbaugh, actually.
Yep.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I was actually thinking of John.
Yeah.
But
Because I mean, Fields is like
Either-
a Walmart version of Lamar.
well, and what did Jim Harbaugh do with Kaepernick
Exactly.
in San Fran?
Yep.
Went to a Super Bowl.
But see, this is what good coaches do. They tailor an offense to the talent they have.
But like either one of those guys would use Fields properly and
Yes.
would do.
Agreed. And this is why, Mike Tomlin, everybody says, "Oh, he never has a losing season." Yeah, but is 500 really the standard for where you want to be? And
No.
This is why I think he's always around 500, is because he doesn't adapt to the talent that he has, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And it's like fitting a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work, and you end up with 500 every year. Like Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, a 500 winning percentage.
Exactly.
You know who has a much better winning percentage?
I do. That'd be the Joe Wright Group. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson a call today at 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs.
Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo.
Yeah, nice. Moving on. Next up, we got the Lions absolutely embarrassing the Dallas Cowboys, which, obviously I'm not a Lions fan whatsoever, and I went on my rant last week. I don't really give a shit about your fan base or your franchise or anything like that. So I really
That was such a great rant, too, by the way. And it brought on by a question by me, which I fully loved your response.
Of course.
I appreciate that.
So I don't care what franchise it is that absolutely paced the Cowboys. So I loved every minute of this, and I loved the absolute disrespect shown when they were trying to run hook and ladders to linemen, because you knew that game was personal. 100% it was.
Oh.
And props to the Lions. I love that they did that. I love that they took the game personally, and I love that they were trying to do trick plays when they were up by like 1 million. It was great.
Everything that was said leading up to that game by Detroit
It's not personal.
was 100% a lie.
Oh yeah, big time.
It was very personal.
Oh, 100% it was.
And now it's going to be even more personal
Yeah.
because Aiden Hutchinson is gone for a long time.
Yeah, he's
That was nasty.
That was gross. That was very gross.
That was nasty. I feel bad for him.
I do too. You never want to see that happen to a player.
No, and despite the fact he plays for the Lions, I actually like the guy.
Yeah, so do I. But you never want to see that.
Yeah, it was a tough one, man.
It really was. So there's people saying that he could be back for the Super Bowl if they make it that far. I don't
see how that's possible.
I don't see
bro.
how that's possible. I really don't. And if he is, I think you're pushing it to a point where it doesn't need to be pushed.
Yeah. I do think, and again, Lions fans going to disagree with me. I think they are in trouble, though,
Yeah.
on defense.
Yeah.
I think Aiden Hutchinson means more to that defense than what people might think. And I know they love him as Lions fans, and I know they appreciate him. But I think they're thinking they can just pick up and go on without him. Next man up. Man, I'm telling you, I don't believe that's the case. I think you are going to see some ill effects of this in the rest of the team. and
Yeah.
and they're going to have to fill that hole somehow.
And then everybody talking about, oh, go out and get Max Crosby or go out and get Myles Garrett, etc. Blah 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 blah. I mean, you can't just go out and do that.
Yeah, I mean that. Okay, it's not. This is not Madden.
No.
Guys. Is it possible to pull off a trade like that? Yeah,
It
maybe.
is. I don't know if they want to give up the draft capital to do it.
That's the whole thing. Are they willing to give up what needs to be given up to get those guys?
Right.
I don't think they're going to be able to get Myles Garrett, although this past trade of Amari Cooper might say that you possibly could get Myles Garrett for a little bit of nothing, and Cleveland might actually pay you to take him. Because they're fucking stupid. But
Yes.
I don't see Myles Garrett. I don't see Max Crosby happening. Hassan Reddick.
Maybe. I think that's the most likely. I think that's the most
see
likely one.
that one.
Yeah. I think that's the most likely outcome here.
So I definitely, there is some possibilities. I just don't think they're the big name guys like you think. I don't think it's the Myles Garrett. I don't think it's the Max Crosby.
But you do need somebody.
You definitely need somebody to fill that hole.
Yes.
And where you're going to see the whole biggest is that it's his leadership on the field where you're gonna
He's the juice, man.
yeah.
He's the juice.
I mean,
he's the guy that stirs the drink, man. He's that guy.
He represents what your team and your
Yeah.
coach want represented out there.
100%.
And he brought that.
He did.
And that's where you're gonna miss it, man. Yeah, that's where you're gonna miss it.
Like I said, he's the juice. Like simple as that.
And on another note, these games overseas, I thought about this because he had to have emergency surgery.
Yeah.
In Dallas,
Yep.
like he had to stay back, emergency surgery. They rushed him in.
Yeah.
What happens if they're playing in Brazil and this happens? No, I mean, I
agree with you. That's why
you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think anybody's really thought about this, right?
No, that's a good point.
If this injury happens at a game in Brazil, does this guy go to the witch doctor and like what happens then?
I don't know.
Like what are you doing? Is he going for emergency surgery in Brazil? Like what are we doing? How does that work? That's not a good situation, brother.
You would think that the NFL would check that out. You would think. But again, it is the NFL who don't care about their fucking players at all.
I mean, it's so. This is one of those rare cases where the player didn't just break a bone and had to go get it set, right? Like he had to have emergency surgery for this, right?
Yeah.
Like this is something that I don't think necessarily gets thought about when you talk about playing games in certain places.
Right.
But this injury happens at a game in Brazil. There's problems.
Yeah. I would think so. But I mean, I don't want to see a game being played in Brazil and this happen. I don't want to see that scenario.
No.
I don't.
No, and I'm saying right now, that's why I don't want to see it happen.
Yeah.
Because if it does happen,
That guy might be fucked.
I worry
Yeah.
for whatever player that happens to at that
Right,
point in time
right.
because
Yes. Not good.
questionable.
Very, very, very. Now moving on to the other side of this absolute beatdown. Man, the Cowboys suck.
Dude,
Don't give
it
me the
is-
injuries excuse. Stop. I don't care that Mike Parsons was out. I don't care. I don't give a shit. That was embarrassing. That team fucking quit.
The whole team quit.
They fucking quit. And
see-
Dak looks like absolute dog shit.
I don't know if he's ever looked great, but he definitely looked really extra bad in this game,
He
though.
looked like he had no fucking clue.
I'm not the biggest Dak fan,
Neither am I. Yes.
but he looked way worse than I think I've ever seen him look in this game. And talk about seeing ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
He had the look of Sam Darnold seeing ghosts.
He did.
That was the look in his eyes.
That team is in trouble. That team is in big time trouble. Mm-hmm. And to get paid, like I think all their home games this year, they've gotten absolutely fucking pasted in. Like
Which is weird because
Like
last year their home and away record was
right.
much different.
Like
but
Baltimore
yeah.
pasted them. Obviously, the Lions just and the Baltimore game, the score looks a lot closer than the game actually was because Dallas scored late. The Lions just straight up jail sexed them, like flat out. They did.
That was bad.
Like the Lions came in, it's like we're gonna disrespect the fuck out of you, and you're not going to do anything about it. And they didn't do anything about it.
Well, Baltimore beat them 28-25, so that wasn't that bad.
But those are late scores.
Yeah.
Like that game was an ass kicking.
New Orleans, fucking
Yeah.
shit canned them at home.
Yes.
44-19.
Right, exactly. And then I heard a snippet today of Jera. He was on his radio show, and they asked him a question, just kind of like all this shit that's going on. And Jera was not thrilled with the line of questioning.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What show was he on?
What the show he does like weekly down in Dallas.
Okay.
You can find it on wherever.
All right. I was just curious whether it was like.
Yeah, if you pull it up right now, you could probably listen to it. But this dude like Jerry Jones interview. I forgot the name of the station. Anyways, Jero was not thrilled by the line of questioning, and it got to the point where he kind of threatened the host's jobs about this.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Jera was not thrilled. So yeah, if you get a chance to listen to that, I highly recommend it. It's a funny listen. Honestly, it really is. So, yeah, the Cowboys. They're in trouble, man. They're in big time, and I love it because obviously I hate the Cowboys. I hope they lose every game they play for all time. But they I don't know what they're gonna do, but
They're gonna.
not good.
They're gonna get jail sexed in more games. I guess. I don't know. That was
they
bad.
are. Moving on, Falcons beat the Panthers 38-20. Again, for me, not really much to take away from this game. It's the Panthers. Any game involving the Panthers, I really don't care about. The Panthers are terrible. They're arguably the worst franchise in professional sports.
Yeah, the one thing I took out of this one is I just find it odd. I feel like why do the Falcons hate Bijan Robinson?
Probably the same reason they hate Kyle Pitts. I don't know.
Like,
It's a good question.
so Bijan had a good game. 15 carries, 95 yards,
But Algier had 18 and 105.
6.3 and 2 touchdowns, but they were intentionally and basically making it known they were trying to get Algier to the 100-yard mark.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Robinson had 95 like halfway through the fourth quarter, or like you didn't ever attempt to get him the 100-yard mark.
No, you can get fucked.
But Algier, they're like, yeah, give him the 100 yards.
Right.
Like, Bijan scores a touchdown, Algier's in there in the next play getting the 2-point conversion. Like, they don't even let him get the 2 points for his
No,
own
you got-
touchdown.
no, we're not
Like,
gonna do
I don't understand it. I really don't get it.
Again,
And I got dogged for trading Bijan away in a league this last week.
yeah.
And he had probably what will be his best game all year after I traded him because he scored 2 touchdowns. But if you look at it, he's still in a committee. Algier still got more carries. They were intentionally trying to get Algier a 100-yard game when they could give a fuck about Bijan and his 100-yard game. Like, I don't understand it, but to me, he's always going to be second fiddle to Algier, and I don't know why.
I don't either. He's a better running back.
Not that Algier's bad.
No,
I think
honestly,
Algier
yeah.
could be a starting running back on several NFL teams right now.
Yes.
But Bijan Robinson is by far a better talent. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it.
I don't either. Another game I don't get is the Bengals-Giants game. That was a used diaper full of Indian food of a game. It was a terrible football game. As simple as that. Between two like bad teams. That's really all I got out of that. So
It was the only thing that was good out of that game for me is Tyrone Tracy. So
yeah, like I was like okay. Thankfully there was something else on to watch, which was nice.
Yep.
But yeah, that was again that was a shit bomb of a game. So
Yeah, it was,
whatever.
it was not it was not
Not
great.
pretty. These teams are not good. The Giants are not good. The Bengals are not good. Which, more to the Bengals, again, you look at it like, why is this team not good?
God only knows, man.
Like, I get why the Giants aren't good because they have shitty players. But you look at the Bengals, they have good players, and they're not good. I don't get it. So you move on from that. You go to the Monday night game last night with the Bills and Jets. I'm glad they got the win. The Bills did, obviously, 23-20. That was one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen in my life. Both sides. Tyler Bass needs to be kicking in like the CFL or XFL or whatever. He cannot continue to kick in the NFL. That extra point he kicked. That looks like one of my approach shots on, it really did. I shanked it left. It was all right, Shankopotamus. Like, it was so bad. And then he missed another field goal. And it's like, all right, you got to go, man. You left so many points on the board last night, and you've cost your team numerous games because you can't make field goals. You got to go. And more to the point, Sean McDermott, you got to go too. I'm done with you. I know they won the game. I get it. But this team has gone as far as they can with Sean McDermott as their head coach. He'll get you to the playoffs. He'll win your divisions. That's all well and good. You're never going to win a Super Bowl with him as your head coach. You're not. There's too many things that always seem to happen, dumb shit that always seems to happen. And he is the one constant in this. Like, of course, at the end of the half, you give up a fucking Hail Mary. Really? Like, of course, with 13 seconds left, you lose a game. Shit like that, and it happens far too often. And again, the one constant has been him. I'm sorry, he has to be done. I'm sorry, he's got to go. He's not the guy. Now, do you bring in Belichick? Fine.
You're not the guy, pal.
You're not the
guy.
You're definitely not the guy.
You're not the guy, pal.
Now, people say, "Oh, bring in Belichick." I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I'd be against that because he has a ready-made situation. You have a quote elite quarterback, and I think you can mold the defense into what you want it to be. And yes, they have guys coming back from injury, which will help for sure. But just with him as your head coach, you're not winning a Super Bowl. You're just not. He does way too many stupid things that prohibits the team from actually getting over that hump. He just does. So,
yep.
It's a shame. Like I said, I think he is a good coach. I do. He does just stupid shit that precludes the team from actually getting to where they should be. And you need that guy. You know how they say you have that guy to get you to a certain point, and then you need the guy to get you over that certain point? That's what the Bills need. Now, whether they realize that and do it, obviously remains to be seen. I don't think they're going to. I don't think they have the stones to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with you there.
But that's what it's going to take. Honestly, you're wasting Josh Allen's prime years here by not doing what you should do. Now, going out and getting Amari Cooper, it'll help. I don't think it's the end-all, be-all of the moves you should make, but it'll help for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have like technically a number one to throw to.
And a number one that isn't like...
Give me the ball. I
Right.
want the ball all the time.
He's not number one Stephon Diggs. where
Right. He's not going to bitch and moan if he doesn't get the ball.
At this point in time, I'll just be happy to be playing for a Super Bowl contender.
Exactly. He'll be happy to play for a team with a quarterback that can actually throw him the football.
Yeah.
So I that's why I like the move. Again, change of scenery. Generally never a bad thing, especially for disgruntled players or players that play on bad football teams or bad just teams in general.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that plays out here coming up. So because the Bills, obviously they got some tough games coming up. So we'll see how that all plays out. As for the Jets,
Well, they just made a big trade.
they just made a big trade as well for, obviously we talked about it at the beginning of the show, Devontae Adams. I don't necessarily know how much better this makes them. I really don't.
Especially if that hamstring injury lingers.
Yeah, I
you
know, right? that hamstring injury. Obviously, it'll make them like a little bit better, I would think. But here's your issue though. Your offensive line still sucks. It does. It's terrible. And you got a quarterback who's 40 years old and can't move.
And you've got a quarterback who audibles out of run plays because he wants to be the hero.
Exactly.
When
Yeah.
you have two very good running backs back there.
Yes. Did you see
One of the best in the league, and then another guy who's a rookie.
Right. Did you see he blamed Mike Williams for that interception he threw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to see Mike Williams not be on that team here pretty soon.
It's going to be like that meme when he has the key card to try to get in the building and it's locked and he can't get in. That's going to be him.
Well, I'm telling you, listen, the way this went down is he got that interception. They lost the game. Aaron Rodgers went into the building and said, get me Devontae Adams now and get him the fuck out of here. I'm done.
Yeah.
And they went, well,
I think that's how it went with Robert Saleh, too.
I was going to say, they went, well, we just fired the head coach for you. I guess we're past the point of no return.
Yep.
So what do you want, Aaron? And then that's what they did.
Again, this is why bad organizations
Stay bad.
because they let this shit happen.
Yep.
Amazing.
Do you want to know a top-notch organization, though?
I do.
All right. Tap and Barrel Sports Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Tap and Barrel Grill in Shelby Township is one of the newest sports bars in Metro Detroit. This upscale sports bar features over 40 craft beers on tap, handcrafted cocktails, a delicious scratch-made food menu, and an amazing patio, which was voted best in Macomb County by Crane's Detroit Weekly. The comfortable feel, attentive staff, and fine dining food options make it a must-visit spot for sports fans and foodies alike. Whether you're watching the big game or just looking for a great meal, Tap and Barrel Grill has you covered. Visit them at 50055 Van Dyke Avenue in Shelby Township or go to tapandbarrelgrill.com.
Nicely done. Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Again, we definitely appreciate all of our sponsors, and for sure, we're excited to have Tap and Barrel Grill in Shelby Township on board as a sponsor, and we definitely support them as they support us. We appreciate it.
Zav, get some brunch, man.
That's it.
So I want to do something real quick. I think it's something we can go through really quick. I kind of want to do like a grades at the kind of quarter point of the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll start in the AFC. Start off in the AFC East. Obviously, Buffalo Bills.
B minus.
Okay. I'll give them a C plus.
4-2 record. So the record, they're winning their division right now.
Yep.
The record doesn't show that they've been bad, but they haven't been good either.
Yep.
They definitely have a lot of faults. They've overcome some of those faults
They have.
to have a 4-2 record, but they're still there. They're still lingering. They still have given up 126 points against. So I mean, it's their defense is lacking. For me, B minus.
I'll go
is where I go.
I'll go with C plus, simply because the two good teams they've played, they've lost to. Now, could they have won that Houston game without incompetence? Yeah, probably. But when they got just absolutely steamrolled against Baltimore, yeah, that's a problem. And that's why I give them a C minus. And more to your point, the points given up, 126. That's a lot. I know they got a plus 39 point differential, which is solid. It's not great by any means, but it's solid. Now, and I'll stick with C plus simply because another reason is with the injuries they have. I want to see what they do when they get these guys back. So, C plus for me. Miami Dolphins.
C minus.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, C minus for me as well.
For me, it just they're an okay team that needs to at quarterback to be anything near good. You've seen what they are with everybody else in there, and if they had a decent backup, they might be better, but they didn't, and that's part of the reason I give them a C minus is you didn't put a competent backup quarterback in there.
Skylar Thompson wasn't the answer?
Skylar Thompson,
Snoop
Tyler Huntley, Snoop Huntley. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking there, but yeah definitely C minus.
Okay. Jets.
D.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't keep taking your cues from a 40-year-old quarterback who's gonna be there for what, maybe one more year.
I was just gonna say he's gonna be there for like what, one more year.
He's gonna be there the rest of this year and next year, and you're taking all your cues from him. You're getting all of his, like, seriously. Pretty soon they're gonna sign Jordy Nelson, maybe Robert Brooks.
I saw a post on, it was like a meme or whatever. They posted like the Jets logo, but it said Packers instead.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's.
Are they gonna go get Greg Jennings?
Oh God. Wow. I'm going way back in that one.
Yeah.
Good job, buddy. I like that. That's solid.
Yeah. So I mean, like, what you just there's what are you doing? Yeah, I give him a D.
Again, this bad organizations. And the New England Patriots, like, I'm not going to kill the Patriots. We all knew they were not going to be bad this year. We knew they were going to be bad this year.
I give them an NA.
I do too. I'd like to see, obviously, we've only seen one game with Drake May in there.
Yep.
So it's kind of hard to give them an official grade. So I'm kind of with you on this. I give them more of an incomplete.
Yeah,
because it's like,
they had Jacoby Brisket as their starting quarterback for the first four or five games.
I'm not going to crush the Patriots because, again, they had Jacoby Brisket. Like, what are you going to do?
I mean, everybody likes Brisket, but you never want Jacoby Brisket as your quarterback.
You really don't.
I mean, take that from a guy who roots for a team that had him at one point in time.
And he's still better than the starting quarterback you have.
Although at this point in time, I would take him
exactly
over the current starting
Yes.
quarterback.
Moving on to the AFC North, Baltimore.
B plus.
I'll give them a B. Yeah, because they still find a way to either squander leads or almost squander leads.
Well, because their defense gives up a ton of points.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
They've given up 149 points.
Yes.
They've scored 177. I believe they've scored the most points in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
But they've also given up the most points in the AFC.
Yep.
So, except for the Jaguars.
Well, I mean,
But they're another shit show dumpster fire. But like, it's them, the Bengals, and the Jaguars have all given up the most points in the AFC. So
yep.
I give them a B. I think they are progressing in an upward trajectory.
Yes.
I think having Derrick Henry and relying on him more than they did in the first couple games. I think the first couple games they were trying to figure out how to really use him and utilize him properly, and I think they have now. That first game, if you remember, he only got a handful of carries.
Yeah.
He had like 50 yards and a touchdown. Well, now he's getting like 130 a game, 1 or 2 touchdowns. They're grinding the clock out with him in the end. So I think their trajectory is pointing upwards, so I'll give them a B. I think if this was last week or the week before, it'd be like B minus C.
Gotcha. Steelers.
A. I think they've completely outpunted their coverage.
I do too.
I think they've completely outplayed what everybody thought they were going to be. They're 4-2 now, tied for the lead in that division. When you've had Justin Fields, a cast-off quarterback.
Yeah.
Najee Harris, who is not very good. You've had a lot of injuries. Your best wide receiver is George Pickens, and that's it. Like, you don't have another wide receiving core.
Right.
No, and that defense is going to keep them in games. So, yeah, I mean, I think for what they've done,
Yeah.
fucking A, man.
I'm going to give them an A- for what they're about to do.
Well, I can't grade for
Right.
what hasn't happened yet, but yes, I mean it all writing is on the wall that they're making that move.
Yes. Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, D. D.
I'll give them a D minus.
Their defense can't stop anybody. Their offense is bipolar.
Which is amazing. With the talent you have on that offense.
But it's completely bipolar, man.
It is.
It's just 1 week, like you got Jamar Chase, like
Blowing up.
200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The next game, 50 yards. Like, what the fuck?
Yep. No, I'm with you. And then your Brownies. I think this is an easy F.
It's a complete failing grade. Whatever your failing grade is, it's a failing grade.
Yes. I think that's pretty self-explanatory as to why.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to get into that.
No, I've already gone
yes, yes, we
in
have.
depth on that too much.
Moving on to the AFC South, Houston Texans. I give them an A.
Hey,
They're
yeah.
they're exactly what we thought they were going to be.
Yeah. They are who we thought they were,
Yes.
and that's who they are. Old Dennis Green throwback.
Right. The Colts. I'm going to go C.
Yeah.
They're mid.
C.
Like I don't know if this
C.
is a good football team. I don't.
I don't think they do.
Like I don't honestly, I have no idea. Like are they good with Flacco? Are they good without him? I don't know. I don't know what this team is. So I got to give them like
Neither
kind
do
of in the
they.
middle there. Like, you get a C.
Yep.
The Titans.
D.
D. Easily. A
D.
D.
All the pundits had them as being a team that should compete this year. And I'm not saying at 5 games right now they can't, and they won't. But it definitely doesn't look like they're going to be as good as what some of the national media were claiming they were going to be.
Right. And then the Jaguars, again, that's one of the worst franchises in sports.
Complete
F.
failing grade.
F.
Grade.
They're
Failing.
They're in that category with the fucking Panthers and some of these other franchises.
Fail.
AFC West, Chiefs. I mean, you got to go with A. They have to.
Hey.
They win. As simple as that. They win. The Chargers. I'm gonna go
B minus.
I was gonna C plus, B minus, somewhere in that range. I don't think the Harbaugh effect has totally taken over yet. I think it will at some point.
No, but their defense is very good.
Their defense is really good,
And they've I think they've scored the least amount of points in the AFC. No, Dolphins have scored the least amount of points in the AFC.
well, yeah,
Along with the Patriots, but the Chargers are down there, right? They're bottom 3, 4.
91 points.
So they're bottom 3. But their defense has given up the least amount of points at 66, right? So their defense is very good. Again, like Pittsburgh, going to keep them in games. They're going to grind out the clock a little bit as long as Dobbins can stay healthy.
Right.
Kamani Vidal actually got in the game this last week and looked pretty good. Again, he was one of the ones that I talked up at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Because Gus Edwards got hurt, right? And that was the thing behind it is Dobbins can't stay healthy. Gus Edwards can't stay healthy. Kamani Vidal showed some stuff in preseason. He was a good guy, a good running back coming out of college. If they can continue to run the ball, play ball control offense, and their defense can continue to shut people down, they're gonna be all right. But at this point, B minus, C plus, I think is as far as you can go with them.
Oh, here's one. Well, this literally just came across. Cam Akers to the Vikings after a trade with the Texans.
Really?
Yeah. The Vikings acquired Cam Akers and a conditional 7th-round pick in 26 from the Texans in exchange for a conditional 6th-round pick in 26. There you go. Just across the wire.
Weird.
Yeah.
What does that say for Aaron Jones' health?
Not good. It's not good.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well.
It does not. Sticking in the AFC West, Denver Broncos.
B minus again.
Yep.
Listen
Again, that's another team. Like, I can't. Are they good? Are they bad? I don't know.
No, I think they're pretty average, but I think they're better than what maybe you and I thought they would be at 3-3.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to give them a B minus.
Yeah.
I think they're overachieving a little bit compared to what I thought they were going to be, but they're not great. They're not good.
No.
They're overachieving slightly.
I think
based
Bo
on what
Nix
we
has played a little bit better than I think a lot of people thought he would. But yeah, they're
thought. It's still not good though.
it's not good. I'm not saying he's great by any
Yeah.
means, but I think he's played a little bit better than people thought he would. But
Yeah.
and then the Raiders again, dumpster fire. I'm gonna go D minus on this.
I'm going to go failing grade on this one. I know they're 2-4 and they've won 2 games, but failing grade on this one for me because I put them in the same category as like Jacksonville and my Browns. They may have won 2 games, but they're completely failing in everything else. They're selling away their players. They went with a head coach who the players chose, and now one of those players who chose him is fucking gone.
And he wanted out.
It's completely.
He faked a hamstring injury to get out of it.
It's a complete shit show.
Yeah.
And so complete failing grade on that one.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. So, all right, moving on to the NFC. We'll start in the NFC East. Redskins.
A plus.
Yeah, I'll go A minus, but yeah, I'm right in that range because again, I don't think anybody saw them being 4-2 at this point.
Nobody saw them leading that division.
Yeah.
Nobody saw them being 4-2. Jaden Daniels being good, yes, people saw that.
Yeah,
You and I
we called it. We did.
absolutely call it.
Yep.
But I think the entire team playing the way they are and showing out. No, I don't think everybody had that, and I think they're again they're out kicking their coverage. So I think they're doing much better than what we thought they would. I think give them an A plus at this point.
Eagles.
C. They have too much talent to be 3-2 right now.
I'm going to give them a D+. I'm sorry. They're just something. I mean, we talked about it earlier. It's their coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's their head coach.
They have too much talent to be
They
3-2
do
right now.
Agreed. And
they've given up more points than they've scored.
yep.
If you're going to be a Super Bowl contender, that can't be the case, man.
No.
Like you supposedly drafted the right guys for that defense. And I know Devontae Smith has been hurt and A.J. Brown has been hurt. I get it, man. I don't want to hear the bullshit, though. Like, you're a Super Bowl contending franchise. You need to figure out a way to win games and not look like dog shit while you do it.
Yes. Dallas Cowboys.
D.
I'm going to go with an F. Because the games you've lost, you've gotten embarrassed in the games you've lost.
Yep. Only reason I go D is because they are 3-3.
And
but-
you have a minus 42 point differential.
Oh, yeah. It's fucking bad.
Like, that's really bad. Mm-hmm. Like, your quarterback sucks. Sorry, all you Dak lovers. He sucks. Everything about that franchise right now is a dumpster fire. It just is. But, yeah, that's why I give him an F. And lastly, in the NFC North, the Giants.
D.
I'm going to go D as well.
They're about what we thought they were.
Yeah. They're not. I mean, they have 2 wins. I didn't
Yeah.
think they get 2 wins the entire season.
Same.
So there you go.
Although one of them came against my franchise. So, you know.
It did. Moving on to the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings. It's hard not to say A+ on this one.
Very much an A+. Maybe an A++.
Maybe. Especially given how their quarterback situation played out. We didn't know. Was it going to be J.J. McCarthy? Was it going to be Sam Darnold? Obviously, McCarthy gets hurt, so kind of
Darnold.
by default, it's Darnold, and he's played fantastic. So that defense has looked really good as well. So, yeah, A+ to them. And then the team right behind it, the Lions. I think you got to go A+ as well. Like I said, I think they're right now they are the
Agreed.
best team in football. I do.
I think it's hard to say they're not. I think looking at the record and looking at the defense and the offense, I think if
That's the one thing I would knock him for is the defense.
well, and if somebody were to tell me no, I think the Vikings are the best team in football right now, I couldn't deny them that. I think it's probably Detroit, but if somebody were to say they think the Vikings are, I couldn't deny them that.
Right.
I'd be like, I mean, I can't tell you you're wrong.
I just think I think the Lions' offense is why I'd put them ahead of the Vikings. I would.
But the funny thing is, Vikings have only scored 12 less points.
I know.
And they've actually given up
Last,
much less.
yeah. Yes. That's why for the Lions, I would say probably A, simply because their defense
Yeah,
leaves a little bit to be desired.
Well, Lions, I'm going to go with A. Listen, they are one of the top couple teams in the entire NFL
Yep.
right now. So that's what they are. They're an A.
Green Bay. I give them a B+.
B. I think they had a rocky start. I think Jordan Love going down for a couple games hurt them, but they actually pulled through.
Yep.
With Malik Willis and did well. I think as a team they're doing well. I'd give them a B.
Okay. Bears.
Same B. I think they're doing better than we thought they would. I think they're playing well as a team. A little bit to be desired on defense still, same as the Packers.
Yeah.
But the offense is rounding itself out, same as the Packers are. Honestly, I think that division, as we talked about earlier, best division in football. And I'm telling you, if you're a Lions fan, watch out. It's going to be a dogfight the entire rest of the way.
Oh, yeah.
And that starts this next week with Minnesota.
At Minnesota.
Yep.
Moving on to the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go B-.
I'm going to go just a flat-out B.
Okay.
Yeah, that again, they're sort of bipolar, right? They have an okay game, then they have they go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And then they have an okay game, and then they go nuts. They have to round themselves out. I think they're the second best team in that division, but I'm gonna go B
Okay.
for what they've done so far.
Tampa Bay.
B. I think they've underachieved a little bit. I think they're a better team than what they've showed so far, and they've shown that they're pretty damn good. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give them
A B.
I'm a B.
Yeah,
because
I'm kind of there with you.
I
Yeah.
think to give them an A would be a disservice because they haven't played A. They're not where they should be.
Who did they get dump trucked against? I forgot who it was.
I don't remember.
And it was a team
but-
that they shouldn't have gotten dump trucked by.
Yeah, hold on.
forgot who it
the
was.
Broncos.
Yeah, okay.
The Broncos. Well, and for that one, listen, every team has a game where they're just
Yeah.
like
They're
it
shit.
just holy shit.
Yeah.
And I think that was their holy shit game, and that brings them down a little bit too. So B for sure on
I'm
that
with you
one.
on that one. The Saints. Shit, after 2 weeks would have been A+.
Right. C minus.
I'm going to go D. I just think it's a bad football team.
I think they're a bad football team, but I think they overachieved a little bit there,
They did.
which is why they get a C minus for me because they actually did better than I thought they would.
And who's their quarterback right now? Because Carr's hurt, right?
Yeah, it's Rattler.
Oh, good Lord. All right. Yeah.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, D for me. And then obviously the Carolina Panthers, F minus.
Is there? I don't know.
Is there grade lower than F?
Is there a grade below failing?
Like seriously, one of the worst franchises in sports. It really is.
Is there a grade below?
Just awful.
Yeah,
Awful. It's like the jump to conclusions, Matt. This is terrible.
it's terrible.
terrible.
That's terrible. That's a terrible idea.
Moving on to the NFC West, the Niners. I'm gonna go C+.
See, I'm gonna go flat C.
Okay.
I think they've
I'm-
had a rocky road so far, man, and they're just not. There's something not right there. I know they've experienced injuries, and without CMC, they're a whole different team. But they found a way to run the ball still.
Yeah.
Purdy looks good. It's not him. He plays well. He's a good quarterback. But
I'm curious to see what the Niners do this offseason because he's about to get paid.
yeah,
I'm curious to see if they say, well, it's been real, and move on.
it's been real. It's been fun.
Do they pay him or do they just move on?
I think they pay him.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Because they pay him, their salary cap is fucked.
So here's the thing.
Even though I think that, you know how my feelings on the NFL salary cap, it's not real.
Well, I'm going to relate this to the Browns.
Yeah.
If the Browns would have just paid Baker and rolled with that team the way it was, kept their draft picks, drafted, would they be in a better spot right now?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the Niners are the same way in this aspect.
You think so?
If you don't pay Purdy, what do?
You draft
What's
a
your
quarterback.
answer at quarterback?
I mean, I
Drafting
I think Trey Lance would be available.
He might be. He might be the Cowboys starting quarterback here pretty soon.
Yeah, shit.
No, I think if you don't pay Brock Purdy, you run the risk of going down the same path that the Browns did. And you reach for somebody at quarterback, you try to get a guy, you get a guy that's established and you pay him too much money, or you try to go out and draft a quarterback, you get a rookie, and then you never know what you get with them.
Yeah.
Could fail. I think if you don't pay Brock Purdy, I think you're probably being a little dumb and a little naive to think that you can just go out there and get a quarterback.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. It's an interesting scenario either way.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Seahawks.
C.
Yeah. Again, I can't tell if is this a good team or is this a bad team. I don't know.
Again, I've used this a couple times. They're bipolar.
Yeah.
They look really good. They look really bad.
Yeah.
They look good for a quarter. They look bad for a half. They look good for another quarter. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Cardinals.
D.
And you were high on the Cardinals this year.
I
You were
was.
very high on the Cardinals this year.
I was. And but again, their offense looks elementary.
It does.
It's literally an offense that a first grader could come up with. Seriously, man, it's so basic.
Yeah.
And we
Which is amazing considering you have a dynamic quarterback.
right.
Yep.
I mean, it's insane to me.
Yep.
But
And the last team in the NFC West, the Rams.
C.
Yeah.
Only because of how many injuries they've had.
Exactly.
Like they've been really fucked up with injuries.
Very,
so
very.
I'm curious to see what they're going to look like once
Like
these
both
guys
your,
come back.
Both your top receivers have been hurt at some point this year.
They're both still out.
Yeah.
I mean, Puka Nacua went on IR.
Yep.
Cooper Kupp never went on IR, but he's been out for the last 3 games.
Right.
They just had a bye week. We'll see what happens when they come back. But, yeah, I mean, they've been without their 2 top wide receivers, their 2 top weapons.
Yep.
Kieran Williams has been their only weapon pretty much right now.
Isn't it Kyron?
Kyron, whatever. Kyron.
I was asking. Is it Kyron or
I
Kieran?
don't know.
I don't. Yeah, I was asking. I don't know.
No.
I've heard it pronounced both ways, so that's why I was.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I guess I went with Kieran. I don't know. Kyron. Kieran.
Doesn't matter.
Karen.
Well, moving on. How did our picks look last week? I'm sure they were pretty bad.
So we want to get into the picks?
Yes.
All right. Before we get into the picks, I'm going to give you my pick for the best DJ to go with if you need a DJ in the Metro Detroit area. We all know planning an event such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Bald Man Entertainment a call today at 586-747-5402. He's the resident DJ for St. Hubert's Festival every year. If he's good enough for God, he's good enough for you. Again, that's Bald Man Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event. Chris's balls.
You just had to throw that in there, didn't you? Nicely done.
You're welcome.
All right. So
This segment is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group.
It's time!
Okay, so this last week, which was week 7 of our picks, none of us were great at college. Chris, you were the definition of mid. You went 4-4. You won the college picks at
Take it.
4-4.
yeah.
The rest of us were all 2-6.
Okay.
Not a very good week, college.
Yeah.
We all did much better at pros.
Nice.
Chris, you and Eric led the way at 7-3.
Yeah, baby. I told you on the comeback trail.
And Frank and I were 6-4.
Okay.
One pick right behind you.
All right.
So if we're looking at the overall year, myself and Eric are leading the way. Eric has caught up to me.
Oh.
I've had a few bad weeks in a row now, and
Yeah.
he's caught up. He's taken the lead away from me. We're both 53, 62, and 2.
Yep.
And you and Frank are both tied now for second.
Ah.
You've made a comeback.
Yeah.
You are 50, 65, and 2, both of you.
Coming back, baby.
So we're
Let's go.
all 3 games apart, every one of us. With that said, we have this week's picks to make.
We do.
And
I'm a Jew. I'm perpetually yelling.
That was awesome. I'm looking forward to some of these new drops we have for these picks. So, well, good lord. So we'll start off with the college slate like we always do. And the first game this week is Oklahoma State taking on BYU. BYU is laying 10.5. Joe, you and I took Oklahoma State. Eric and Frank took the Mormons.
You ever get their burps and farts out of the way?
Next up, we got Nebraska taking on Indiana. Indiana's laying 6.5. Joe, you took Nebraska. The rest of us took Indiana.
All right, here we go. Shh.
Up next, Auburn taking on Missouri. Missouri's laying 4.5. We all took Missouri.
Fuck you all.
nice. So I wouldn't play there for a second. I don't know what happened.
Next up, we got Alabama laying 2.5, taking on Tennessee. We all took Tennessee.
Guys, I know you have enough.
Next is LSU laying 3, taking on Arkansas. You guys all took LSU. I took Arkansas.
I'm gonna leave.
Next, probably the biggest game in the college slate this week. Georgia taking on Texas. Texas laying 3.5. You guys all took Texas. I took Georgia.
I'm never less Jewy.
That's great. Nice. That's funny. That's solid. Next up, we got Miami.
That's one of my favorite
That's
ones.
a good one. Next up, we got Miami laying 4, taking on Louisville. You guys all took Miami. I took Louisville.
Motherfucker.
And the final game on the college slate this week, Michigan laying 3, taking on Illinois. You guys all took Michigan. I took Illinois.
Sports on tap.
Nice. Moving on to the NFL slate. First up, we got Denver taking on New Orleans in a game that, frankly, nobody should ever care about or bet on. New Orleans is laying 1.5. Joe, you and I took Denver. Eric and Frank took New Orleans.
Shut up. I hate you.
After that, we got Tennessee taking on Buffalo. Buffalo's laying 8.5. We all took Buffalo. Exactly. That's probably how that's going to go, too. Up next, we got the battle of the shithole that is Ohio. We got the Bengals laying 4.5, taking on the Browns. We all took the Bengals.
No, I sound drunk.
Up next, we got Houston taking on Green Bay. Green Bay is laying 2.5. You guys all took Green Bay. I took Houston.
I'm ready to go.
Nice. After that, we got Seattle taking on Atlanta. Atlanta laying 3. You guys all took Green Bay. Oh, I'm sorry. Me and you took Atlanta. Eric and Frank took Seattle. Sorry.
Fuck you both.
Wrong one.
Fuck you both.
Yes. Exactly. Next up, I guess arguably the biggest game of the week. Or one of them, anyway. KC taking on San Francisco. San Francisco's laying 1.5. You took San Francisco. The rest of us took Kansas City.
Stop it, Chris. You're making it hard.
Nice. Next up, we got the Jets taking on the Steelers. Steelers laying 1.5. Joe, you and Eric took Pittsburgh. Me and Frank took the Jets.
I'm at my own ass.
Next, we got Baltimore laying 3.5, taking on Tampa Bay. Joe, you took Tampa Bay. The rest of us took Baltimore.
Well, the world needs ditch diggers, too.
We got the Chargers laying 2.5, taking on the Cardinals. We all took the Chargers.
You ever get their burps and farts out of the way?
I just want to play that one again.
That's a good one. And finally, the last game of the NFL slate, obviously the biggest game of the week, as it always is. The Detroit Lions taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota is laying 2.5. We all took the Lions.
Fuck you, blow me.
Yes. And those are this week's picks.
I'm a Jew. I'm perpetually yelling.
Oy vey, schmier. Nice.
And that's just the ones I was able to make it.
Oh, I'm sure you got more.
There's
plenty more.
So much more to go
yeah.
through.
A lot more.
I'm sure there's going to be more from us.
A lot more inappropriate ones.
Yeah.
Very.
Some that I probably won't actually use, but yeah. So I went through all the reads that I had to do first, which meant I got a lot of drops from Allison again.
Yep.
But there's definitely some stuff in there from us. That if I remember correctly, there's some stuff that I'm going to be able to cut out from us too.
Nice.
So
yeah,
once I go through all that, I'll have some more.
Oh, for sure. Looking forward to it.
Anything else we got?
No.
Good talk. Give us a like, share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider. As always, check out SOTDET.com. Click on shop, buy some stuff, and support us. And there you can see the sponsors, and you can click on their links and go to their websites. You can see the blogs. You can see the fantasy rankings. And you can see our picks for the year, which suck. Again, that's SOT.
Hey, they're trending upward, though.
We're trending. Well, some of us are trending in the right direction. Again, that's SOTDET.com. On behalf of Chris and Frank and Lady Friend and Eric and everybody else, whoever else there is, the dogs upstairs and whoever the fuck else there is.
Yes.
We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye, have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No, 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 no!
Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No! Goodbye! No!
It's never goodbye.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
And you were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys.